forward to this. I am all about respect the past and embrace the future. I'm not someone who despises Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah.
I am someone who is okay to see another take on Superman. I'm not that big of a Snyder fan. I criticize him a lot. I give him shit. People know this. Henry Cavill is getting older and he's focusing on Warhammer. Let him. In fact, I want to see Henry Cavill and Warhammer. I want a proper Warhammer live action show done. And if it's shit, if Amazon shits the bed, I will go to their central headquarters and take a dump right in the center of it, y'all, for Henry Cavill, for the Emperor. Now, we see the infamous Reddit postings of Snyder fans saying, okay, review bomb the shit out of James Gunn's Superman when it comes out, reserve tickets so no one else can buy them, and then don't pay. Don't pay. Let's ruin this film before it begins. Unfortunately for them, this is breaking ticket records or some shit I heard, and it's probably going to do really well at the box office. So, you people, Snyder fans, who are doing this, not all of them, but insane Snyder fans, this is a sickness. You're mentally ill. Stop it. Get some help. Now, what is Superman supposed to represent? He's the ideal to strive towards, right? He is the pinnacle of superheroes. Hope and light manifested into one being. Did Henry Cavill's Superman represent this? Well, let's see. Let's take it one movie at a time. Let's be fair. I'm a fair man. I might say a lot of dumb shit and get a lot of things wrong. A lot of my fans know this, but I am a fair man. The truth is, it's complicated. This is not a yes or a no. People are going to be like, yes, he was amazing. He's the best Superman ever. Or, no, he was shit. He's dark, depressed, emo Superman. We don't need that. Let's be chill here. We're somewhere in the middle.
I think we would have gotten to see Henry Cavill portray a more hopeful Superman. I think we just never got to that point. I think we didn't spend enough time with the character, ultimately. That's what I think. I think we were always going to see that. I just think we just weren't given the opportunity to spend enough time with him.
It's complicated. I'm a Man of Steel fan. I like Man of Steel, and I think Henry Cavill in Man of Steel is the best of the Superman that Snyder gave us. 100%. It's not even close. The scene with him flying. This inspires hope into children everywhere. There's that viral video of that toddler or that kid going crazy off this clip, right? We all know it. We got him smiling. Remember when he smiled? Remember when he's in the bar with his girlfriend and he's smiling with his mom too, and some douchebag even throws alcohol in his face? And he just walks away. Granted, he destroys the truck, but we saw in Smallville, Tom Welling's Clark Kent did the same thing to Whitney's truck in the pilot. If you know, you know. Tom Welling's Superman is my favorite version of Clark Kent on live action, by the way, if you didn't know. And Smallville has the best Lex Luthor ever. That's not even, no one can even debate this. I really liked Clark and his father's scene, that program that Jor-El created within the ship, right? I liked Russell Crowe's Jor-El and the back and forth relationship that he had.
The aesthetic of Zack Snyder's universe, I don't think we'll ever get something on that level again. I mean, it looked beautiful. Yes, the colors were a little muted. Yes, it was a little desaturated, but it was still beautiful. It's a shame we will never see that again, sadly.
With the sun. I love these scenes, right? Now, we get to the infamous...
General Zod was a great character, too. Great character.
Battle scene with Zod where a bunch of fucking people die and there's a shit ton of collateral damage. Now,
Man of Steel was a good movie, bro. It was a good movie.
I don't mind the collateral damage part because, one, it's addressed in the next movie in a way that actually makes sense, to be honest. Okay? Superman he wasn't given a lot of options here, all right? Yes, he could have grabbed Zod and taken him to space. He tried that. Zod found a way to come right back down. People are going to die in a battle like this, okay? And I'm glad this is realistic, too. I was maybe I was a bit too hard on this aspect of the movie when I initially made my first Man of Steel video. When you have two Dragon Ball Z level beings going at it in a human city or near a human city, people are gonna die badly. And I think the problem a lot of people had was Superman just casually walking away or flying through it all with buildings falling. When Zod lasers the building and the building's falling down, Superman just chases Zod without helping people. I think that's the thing that people have a problem with. But you really have to think about those details. In the midst of the movie, I didn't mind it. Now here we get to the infamous Zod killing. Now, I don't like this. I know, listen. People have gone after me for my take on this. He had no choice. What the hell was he supposed to, Zaffy? Zod was about to nuke an entire family, and nothing could hold Zod. No prison could hold Zod. What was he supposed to do? Now, here's my reformed take on this, okay? Ultimately, do I think Superman could have done nothing except for this? No. I don't think resorting to a freaking neck snap was the only thing he could have done. You had his back. But ultimately, all the things he could have done to Zod, that's besides the point. Zod might have still found a way out to kill more people, right? If he tried to do anything else to withhold Zod and capture him, it might have ended in more lives being taken, okay? So he didn't have a lot of options. I think my issue with this is more so the fact that Zack Snyder put Superman in a corner, in a position where he had to kill in his first movie. Yeah. If I was to have Superman kill someone.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been in his first movie, and I always thought that was a weird choice. It's because we never saw Superman do anything else besides this. So that was crazy. And I guess what he was trying to do was desensitize us to this, but it was definitely, I think, a bad decision. I don't think it was a I don't think it tainted the character too much, but I do think ultimately it wasn't the best decision um, for the movie. So it was weird. I spoke about how I feel about Superman and killing and the whole thing, and I'm not opposed to it, especially for a character like Zod. But I do think there has to be a lot of nuance and a lot of maturity there if you were to ever have Superman killing, and he should never ever be a violent person. You know, that's not Superman. He should never be a killing machine. Never, 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 never. So, but I do think there are circumstances where um I wouldn't I wouldn't be upset if Superman killed. That's all I can say. So, that's my thoughts on that.
It would have to be an end all be all crazy stakes situation in like a third movie or something. I think so. I think I have a personal bias for that. I do think Zack Snyder kind of wanted to be edgy a little bit and take a stand with this. Hey, this is our Superman movie. This is different, yo.
Yeah, he was trying to make a statement. He was, and that's why he did had him do it.
This is a badass dark Superman. I think there's an aspect of that I don't like either, because I just have a feeling subconsciously that Zack Snyder wants his Superman to be like a bit more like Batman than anyone else, and he's obsessed with that injustice storyline. Okay, for a reason. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. But I'm coming around to the idea that maybe this isn't the end of the world. Okay, maybe this isn't this is not as bad of a scene as I think. I don't think Superman killing Zod in this.
And he was very torn up about it. Like he did not want to kill him. Like, and he was visibly upset at the fact that he had to. So let's not sit here and act as if, yeah, this guy just wanted he just wanted to kill somebody. He was itching to get a body. No. He was upset that he had to do that. He was shaken. He was I don't know. That was crazy. Nah, but he was torn up about it. He was torn up about it. He was.
Ruined Superman for me because ultimately he was trying to save humans, and he put their lives over everyone else. The problem is when people say nothing could have held Zod, no prison could have held Zod, he had no choice. How many other superpowered beings that are way more powerful than Zod that cannot be held on Earth by any prison? How many people like that has Superman fought without killing? Right? Many. He did kill Doomsday. In Death of Superman, I'm pretty sure he breaks Doomsday's neck while dying. That's a different situation, and Doomsday's not really a person like Zod is. He's more of a monster, but still. I'm cool with it now, guys. You don't need to keep coming at me. I'm cool with it. I just don't like that it happened in like the first Superman movie. I don't... Fuck. It's raining. I apologize if you hear that. Whatever. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk any longer. BVS, I don't care what anyone says. This ain't Superman. Nothing about this is Superman. Part of the reason is Superman is sidelined in the story that he's literally supposed to be 50% of. He has nothing to do. And Henry Cavill's performance is tampered with. Okay? People always say Superman looks depressed in these movies. He's so emo and BVS. This isn't because Henry Cavill is a shit actor, okay? He's not the greatest actor, but This is a lack of writing. His character doesn't have a lot to do, so he's stuck with these expressions because he doesn't have room to do anything. This is a story where Zack Snyder was attempting to break Clark Kent down.
Yeah, he wasn't given a lot to do. The movie heavily focused on Batman, and a lot of what happened with Superman in this movie was him reacting to stuff, and he wasn't given a lot of dialogue. He wasn't given a lot of introspective, like he wasn't given a lot of interactions with different characters. Yeah, so he wasn't given enough. I completely agree with this. I completely agree with this. Had he been given more, and that's basically what it comes down to. We did not get to see him be him enough. Neither Clark Kent or Superman. We did not get enough of either versions of the character. So now I think that's the biggest problem with Henry's performance, and that's something that was ultimately out of his control. He had nothing to do with that. That was not his decision to make. That was the writers and the directors' um, decisions, and so that's what we got because of it, and it shows. You know what I'm saying? But I don't attach that to Henry Cavill.
As a character, but the problem is you have a lot of other shit in the story that fucks with that, right? That takes away from that. So Clark Kent is not fleshed out enough in this. When he says no one stays good in this world, this is cringe. Why? Not because, oh, come on, Zaffy, Superman was broken down, Martha was taken, Lex is fucking with his head. Of course he's gonna be this. Why is it unrealistic to say he would be like this? Look, Lex Luthor versus Clark Kent is not fleshed out in this movie at all. Yeah, he kidnapped Martha. If Lex Luthor was putting Clark's brain under the fire for the most of this movie, and we saw it time after time after time. Yes, he was trying to frame Clark there. He put Clark through a trial, all this stuff. This scene would have been more earned. But if it's not earned, Superman fans everywhere are going to look at the scene and be like, that is not Superman. What the fuck is this abomination of a character, right? This didn't bother me when I saw it, by the way. When I first saw this movie, I didn't care about this. Because Superman and Batman were about to fight, baby. I didn't care about this shit.
That has to be facts, bro.
You up, by the way. When I first saw this movie, I didn't care about this. Because Superman and Batman were about to fight, baby. I didn't care about this shit.
Yeah, that's facts. I didn't care for a lot of this stuff. Mind you, I was in 6th grade when this movie came out. So I was like, how old was I? I think I was 12. I was 12 years old when this movie came out. All I cared was Superman and Batman fighting. That's all I cared about. This is a 3-hour long movie, and I was waiting for them to fight from the first minute. So I did not care about a lot of this. But having grown up, watched the movie multiple times, obviously I formed stronger opinions about the movie, and I definitely saw the issues back then, but I didn't care because I wanted to see these guys fight. Now looking back, those issues are clear as day. So, but at the time, I did not care, bro.
Superman doesn't have a lot to do in this film, and it does ruin his character. Now Snyder cut. Remember what James
I also felt like that too. I was like, dang, we're not seeing enough of Superman. We're not seeing a lot of him. But at the same time, we were getting Batman. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't really something that I was like super pressed about, because I'm like, okay, we are getting Batman, and guess who we also got? Wonder Woman. So, there was a lot there at the same time.
Gunn has said recently about his Superman. He's trying to make this the most vulnerable Superman. He's trying to make him relatable as hell, right? I get it. I understand. If this is the weakest Superman, I wouldn't be surprised, and that might piss off a lot of people, but...
Bro, I'm okay with him being vulnerable. But him being vulnerable does not mean he has to be weak. I do not want this Superman to be weak. I will be upset. Superman needs to be strong. That's part of his character. He doesn't have to be weak. He can be vulnerable and be strong at the same time.
Just be prepared, that might happen. But this guy, this if I want to say, listen, I don't want this guy losing to anyone he shouldn't be losing to, right? I don't believe for a fact this guy loses to anyone he shouldn't be losing to. This is maybe the most powerful Superman we've seen on live action after getting birthed by the Mother Box. This was Steppenwolf, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman had to be teaming up to fight this guy at the time. Superman just slapped him around like he was nothing.
Yeah,
And
he was extremely powerful, and I did like that. But it did also make me wonder, like, dang, what can't this guy do? You feel me? Like, I always looked at Superman and Wonder Woman as like this on the same level and stuff. And obviously, I know Superman is ultimately more powerful than Wonder Woman, but I always thought Wonder Woman could hold her own against Superman. But he was completely overpowering these guys in this movie, which I don't mind, but it does take some of the tension away, and I don't think it did in this movie. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, I hope they're still able to make it to where he's actually needed. You know what I'm saying? Or like make it to where like we can actually feel tension, because it does take away tension if you think that every character can just get taken down easily by Superman, which I don't think that we ever dealt with that problem in that universe. I don't think we even got enough screen time with the characters to even get to that problem, and I don't think it was a problem in the movie itself. But I saw it as a future possibility. So, but yeah,
he slapped around the Justice League right before that, right? This is the power of Superman I want to see. People will say, Henry Cavill's acting is a bit suspect. Does he have acting range? Is he a good enough actor to even play?
The Flash suit is terrible. Do you guys see this suit over here? This is terrible. Why is there so much black in his suit? That's a terrible suit. Oh my, this was a terrible Flash. I don't even care. I heard the guy is a creep, so I can even talk smack about the actor. No, I'm just playing. But nah, but it was a terrible portrayal all the way around. That Flash sucked, man. I'm sorry. That was a terrible Flash. I don't know what they thought they were cooking up. That Flash was bad, bro. From the way he ran his stupid run, bro. I hated this Flash, bro. I hated him. He was a little funny, but still, he was a terrible Flash. I'm sorry.
Play this character? Here's my take. I don't think it's a range from. I do think Henry Cavill has limited range. Let's just say it how it is. I do think he has limited range as an actor. I think the character at some points is written without personality as the movies go on. In Man of Steel, you had personality. In BVS, you were sidelined completely. In Snyder Cut, there's just not a lot for you to do in that, right? Because he's not in it for a lot of it, right? He's dead until he's brought back, and then when he's brought back, he's just beating the shit out of people, right? There's not a lot of personality in this Superman after Man of Steel, in my opinion. Henry Cavill has shown that he can play personality because he has played two different kinds of characters. Granted, Geralt is a stoic dude, so Henry Cavill's more wooden acting works with that. But then in Man of Uncle, he has a lot of personality with him. He's like a James Bond, right? If you found a middle ground in this, you could have written him to be a Superman with personality, but the problem is the writing doesn't help him. So it's not Henry Cavill's acting that's the issue, in my opinion. He could play a good Superman with personality if he was written well, like in Man of Steel. In Man of Steel, this is the ideal Superman, in my opinion, for live action, especially when Henry Cavill's involved. This is it. Not this fucker. No. Hell no. What the hell were you even doing here, Zach? Why is Superman written so poorly? The power of the Snyder Cut, Superman, with the personality, because Snyder Cut, he starts ripping the shit out of Steppenwolf to the point where I thought Steppenwolf was about to die at one point. There was a point where Superman's just beating on Steppenwolf, smiling and shooting lasers, and I'm like, all right, bro, chill. I think he's had enough, yo. So let's remove the murderous Superman, but the power of the Snyder Cut Superman with the ideal personality and hopefulness of this Superman.
This is a complete nitpick, but Superman's heat vision needs to be red, bro. I don't like that blue laser, that blue heat vision stuff. It needs to be red, bro. It has to be red. Don't make it blue. I will be mad. I will be upset. It needs to be red.
Superman. That's the ideal Superman. That is a very good. That might be the best Superman. I guess we have Tyler Hoechlin Superman and Christopher Reeve Superman, right? But That could be the ideal Superman. This is the power of Superman and the badassery, plus the hope that we got from.
And also too, I don't know why they make Superman sometimes to be like, I know why, he's a Boy Scout, you feel me? But we can have a Superman with longer hair. Come on now. Like this is nitpicking. But I like Superman with a little bit more length to his hair, to be honest. Like, see, if you see here, he has a good amount of hair here. He has less hair here, and you could say maybe this is age or whatever. But
From Man of Steel.
I think also too this is just the direction they were taking the care, and I also think this might have been Henry Cavill's haircut at the time, which is nothing wrong with it for sure. There's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Superman with his hair a little bit longer, and I think they are going this route for David Cornsweat's Superman, but I'm wondered to see how it's going to change, if it's going to change in the future. But I don't mind my Superman to have hair. I just don't.
That's it. But they just couldn't maintain it. I think we got a hint of it, that Black Adam end credit scene though, where he confronts Black Adam at the end. His look, the way he spoke, the way he came down, the way the colors of his suit are more bright and colorful now. I was like, holy shit. This might be it. They might have found it. They might have found 100% their perfect Superman now. They have it. And Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam was shit. It bombed. I think Henry Cavill had the most potential. And I think Man of Steel was great. I think Man of Steel was a great Superman. If only we had a bit more of that. I think Henry Cavill's great. I think it's time to move on. This is an homage to Henry Cavill. I cannot wait for Warhammer. I love Henry Cavill. I really like the Superman. Can't wait for James Gunn Superman. Can the fans just stop warring and just enjoy? If you don't want to watch James Gunn Superman, Snyder fans, go back to just rewatch Man of Steel a couple times. Why do you have to bring negativity into space? And please don't be part of this cultist base that wants to review bomb and reserve seats for the new. Bro, don't do any of that shit, bro. Have a life. I don't have much of a life, but you should have one. You should have more of a life than me, all right? If you want to know who'd win between Henry Cavill Superman and Omni-Man versus other live-action Supermans in a fight, you can watch that video over here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission.
Okay, so that was an interesting video. I enjoyed it. Shout out to Zaffy. That was something. But yeah, shout out to Zaffy. That was a cool video. I agree with pretty much everything that he said. A lot of those problems that he pointed out, you could tell that was not Henry Cavill's fault. It was not his fault. A lot of those problems, and a lot of things were overblown just because of the bigger issues of the character. Then people started nitpicking, which is like what we do as fans. But we took it to egregious levels, and that was because of the larger issues at play. So when we talk about him killing, his stoicism, all those things, we're like, Superman has been stoic before. That's not the classic portrayal of his character, and that's not his even his main personality trait. But it's not as if Superman can't be stoic at all. He can be stoic, but for the most part he is cheerful, and I think we just got too much of his stoicism and then not enough of his cheerfulness, and ultimately that led to the Superman receiving a lot of criticism. But I do think Henry Cavill was a great Superman, and I know had he been given better material, that he could have given us a wonderful performance. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. However, we will never be able to see that, sadly. Maybe we will in the future, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, like I said, I still think that there's a possibility that he is going to be portraying Ultraman in this new Superman movie, but I do not know. But if he is, I would have called it. But let me know what you guys thought about this video. Shout out to Zaffy once again. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and I am out. You guys be safe. Have a good one.
Yep. Did she know I'm the one I go